Most people think that kids here in school in Spain finish at 3 p.m. Also, their parents finish work at 3 p.m. and then we all head off home for our siesta and get to nap for a couple of hours. If only, right? Unfortunately, that's not the truth. That is not what happens here in schools in Spain. In fact, children here in Spain have one of the longest school days of all of Europe. Most children are in school until 4 or 5 o'clock, and then after school begin their extracurricular activities. And any family that's moving to Madrid, moving to Spain, needs to know that the extracurricular activities play a huge part of family life. Hello, I'm Sinéad, founder of Steps into Spain. Having lived here for almost 20 years, 3 kids of my own, and 5 of those years helping families to find the right schools in Madrid, visited over 250 schools, I can tell you quite a lot about extracurricular activities and how important they are here in Spain and how they work in each of the different types of schools, which is the public school, private school, and concertado school. So let's start with the different school timetables. Without a doubt, the shortest school day would be in a public school that offers jornada continua. Here in Madrid, at least, these schools are not easy to find. Those timetables will work from 9 until 2. That's the class timetable. Then the kids have the option of staying at school for lunch, and then they've got the option of extracurricular activities, which would then take them up until about 4 o'clock. Then the other schools, the other timetable of the public schools that do not offer jornada continua would be from 9 until 4, and that's the same with some of the private schools. And then the concertado schools are usually the longest timetable, from 9 until 5. And then it's once those classes finish, once those times finish, that's when the extracurricular activities begin. For many families, or for many children, the school day is actually the same length as a working day. In fact, when I was teaching, my school, I was teaching in public schools, and we had jornada continua. So we finished at about 3 or 4 o'clock. And at that time, my children were in a concertado school. And my working day was actually longer than my children's school day. It is how it is. You can be for it or against it, but it's how things are here in Spain. So it's something to bear in mind when families are moving here. Our children's working day, our children's school day, it's a long day. They do get used to it, but it can be a bit of a shock, especially at the beginning, to try and get used to it. So these extracurricular activities, they're usually run, say, in a public school or a concertado school. They're managed at least by the Parents Association, which is called El AMPA. And then they can be run directly by the AMPA, but they're not really usually run by AMPA. AMPA will manage it and manage it with third-party companies that will come to the school and will offer these activities. And then there's some language academies that also come to the schools and offer, say, additional Spanish lessons or additional English lessons for children or French lessons or German or any other language. These can also be offered at the school. One of the big advantages for working parents with these extracurricular activities is that it's very convenient. It's managed at the school, so we don't have to go to the school, pick them up, drop off, pick up, drop off. It's all very convenient. And for our children, if it's an activity that they like, it's fun, it's relaxed, and it's a nice way for our children to interact with the other kids, with their other classmates that's outside of the classroom. So it's a lot more relaxed. And I think it's a very good way for children who are new to the school and perhaps new to the country, new to the continent. It's a good way to interact. It's a good social exercise with the other kids. So the types of activities on offer. Like I said, the smaller schools tend to have a more reduced number of activities, and the bigger schools have every type of activity, to be honest. You've got football, gymnastics. Football and basketball are given in any school. These are the king sports. There are other sports as well. Some of the British schools will offer rugby, but it tends to be just the British schools, not many other schools. Ballet, gymnastics, coding, robotics, theatre, loads of things. Every single activity that you can think of usually is offered at the school. All of the schools will have their extracurricular activities on the website. You should definitely take a look. And if you're joining the school in September, you should speak to the AMPA beforehand and see what it is that you need to do to sign up to the activities. Because sometimes what happens is there's activities that your children really want, and lo and behold, there are no places left for your children to join, which can be a massive pain. A lot of the schools run these activities. Maybe it's the same activity and you do it twice a week. It depends. It will depend on the activity. And then, of course, for other schools, what they will offer is, most schools will start at 9 a.m., around about 9 around-ish. They would offer a breakfast club, but it's not necessarily extracurricular activities. The kids can come and they can stay at the school. They can be at the school earlier than when classes start. Of course, you pay additional fees. All of these extracurricular activities also have an additional fee. None of them are free. And then, of course, some schools, what they do offer is a type of homework club. So your child isn't necessarily doing a sport, but they can finish their homework. They can complete their homework at school. So then when they go home, they are free to relax, which they kind of need to. So, extracurricular activities is something that I always recommend for my families who are moving to Spain and their children are starting school for the first time here in Madrid. And there's a couple of reasons why. It's a good way for your child to make friends with other kids with similar interests. It takes them out of the classroom, so they are learning Spanish, but without the academic pressure. They're having fun, they're integrating in the school, and they're also integrating in Spanish culture. And of course, as a parent, it gives you just that little bit more time to finish all those things that you need to do in a working day and family life balance. And then some tips around the extracurricular activities. Don't sign them up to activities every single day. They do need to relax and they do need a little bit of free time. Maybe 1 or 2 activities per week would be a good one for your child. It's especially good for your child if they don't speak any Spanish, maybe to start a sports activity where language isn't really a barrier. If they're new to the school, homework activity could be a little bit monotonous for them. They've already had a very long day. They're most likely exhausted. Something fun and relaxed would probably be a better option for your child. And of course, this is important because admissions don't necessarily manage the extracurricular activities. Always ask who is the contact for the extracurricular activities and get in contact with them as soon as possible. Because like I said, the September sometimes can be full from the previous year, and as well, if you're joining mid-year, it's important to understand, well, can your child actually join this activity midway through the school year? Extracurricular activities are a huge part of family life here in Madrid. So when choosing a school, do investigate, do some research on the extracurricular activities that are offered at the school to make sure that it's the right fit for your family. If you'd like help navigating the school system here in Spain, that's exactly what we do here at Steps into Spain.